For ultimate EV performance, it's no longer sufficient for a brand to merely give its electric vehicle a drive motor on the front axle to add to the one at the back. As Audi's two SQ8 e-tron models show, ideally you'd want 3 motors. The result is more power, more grip and better handling. It's all good.
You probably won't have heard of Audi's e-tron S, a large luxury high-performance version of the brand's e-tron electric model. The S version arrived in 2020 with a bit of tech the EV sector hadn't previously seen. Offered in SUV and sleeker sportback forms, the e-tron S was the market's first EV to use 3 electric drive motors, 1 on the front axle and 2 at the rear. The result, predictably, was explosive performance. Even more significantly, having 2 motors on the rear axle allowed Audi to further reinvent the EV version of its Quattro 4-wheel drive system. Drive at speed, able to switch not only from front to rear, but between each of the back wheels. So grip and traction were never in doubt. Audi reckoned this system set a fresh standard for the way a big EV could handle, and they weren't wrong. But customer take-up was slow, so the 𝗙liche brand has revitalised this model and given it a new name, the SQ8 e-tron. Here, we're going to subject it to the usual thorough car and driving review. It's been over 40 years since Audi redefined performance driving with its Quattro all-wheel drive system. With this SQ8 e-tron model, you could argue that the brand has redefined it once again for a very different era, this being currently the EV market's only electric vehicle to use 3 drive motors. The larger electric motor that on a conventional Q8 e-tron sits at the rear has here been moved to the front, freeing up space for twin smaller motors to sit on the back axle, allowing torque vectoring and fully variable torque distribution between the rear wheels for what should be considerably enhanced cornering agility. The difference here is that you get real confidence through tighter, twistier turns thanks to the electronic torque vectoring system's ability to individually control the amount of drive fed to each individual rear wheel with pinpoint accuracy, based on the grip and load active on either side of the car as you drive through each corner. It's sort of like a mechanical limited slip differential, except that here there's nothing but software linking the 2 rear motors, and they respond up to 25% quicker. While all this is going on, wheel selective torque control on the front axle uses the discs and pads to gently brake the inside front wheel as you turn, further helping to rotate the car into the turn as the rear tyres edge towards their limit. The only disappointment, as with the more ordinary Q8 e-tron models, lies with the relative lack of steering feel, a familiar Audi issue, though the variable ratio progressive rack is certainly accurate. If only, though, it gave you the same confidence as the drive system. What a car this would be. Extra motive power in this SQ8 e-tron model means a higher output, of course, up to 435 PS with 808 Nm of torque, or with the S mode engaged for overtaking, 503 PS with a thumping 973 Nm of torque. Enough to simply hurl this Audi at the horizon. 62 miles an hour from rest is recorded at 4.5 seconds, but feels quicker than that because the pulling power is so instant, tailing off only as you edge close to the 130 mile an hour maximum. Drive more sensibly, and a claimed range of up to 276 miles is supposed to be possible. That's improved, but still distinctly on the modest side. Something like a Tesla Model S Plaid is even faster than this top Audi, but still manages to deliver another 97 miles of range. Still, if you can make the drive range and the flaky public charging infrastructure work for you, there's no reason why this SQ8 e-tron wouldn't too. As with more conventional Audi models, it isn't best in class in every particular area, but it's there or thereabouts in enough of them to an extent that creates a very complete product indeed. and good enough to reassure us that, contrary to expectations, driving enthusiasts really do have something to look forward to in this new EV era after all. You might not think the styling changes made here over the old e-tron S to be that dramatic, but they've been enough to usefully benefit the aerodynamics, which with this SUV body style have improved from 0.28 to 0.26 CD. That has less to do with the cosmetic updates and more to do with the new underbody spoilers you can't see, mounted under the MLB Evo platform to direct air away from the wheels. The smarter grille, which is illuminated on this top Vorsprung version, also has electronically controlled cooling ducts and is set within a reprofiled S-specific bumper. The LED headlamps feature intelligent matrix functions, an orientation light for country roads and a lane light complete with a direction indicator, and feature Audi's clever digital light system on this top Vorsprung spec variant. With this, each headlight gets a small chip containing 1 million micro mirrors, which are tilted up to 5,000 times a second, not only to adapt themselves more accurately for different driving situations, but also to project dynamic movie-style animations on the wall or on the ground as part of a carpet of light. It's all very special. In profile, you'll note this SUV version's boxier silhouette. Unlike the Sportback variant, it also comes with roof rails. Check out these S-specific flared wheel arches and you'll note the key visual difference between base Black Edition trim and this Vorsprung version. This top variant's enlargement of the usual 21-inch wheels to these imposing 22-inch rims. Both rim sizes feature black S-branded calipers, and there are S-specific side sills. Also standard with Vorsprung spec are these virtual mirrors, L-shaped pods that protrude on slim aerodynamic stalks, replacing ordinary door mirrors. The tail lamps have been revised too, above another restyled S-specific bumper. As for what you can't see, well, as usual, with any Q8 e-tron, there's no EV-specific chassis, but instead a modified version of the conventional MLB platform that all the company's larger models use. You'll find less that's new inside, but less needed doing in there. Audi insists it's different though, primarily in its eco-friendliness. Carpets, like the sound-deadening material, are made from recycled fibres. The seatbelt buckles are moulded from reused automotive plastic waste, and where microfiber upholstery features, it's sourced from recycled plastic bottles. All of it supporting Audi's claim that this is a completely carbon-neutral vehicle. Otherwise, it's as you were. With the old e-tron S, this SQ8 e-tron model is set apart by Valcona leather-trimmed super sport seats with diamond stitching and SQ8 embossing. Not much has changed here as part of the SQ8 e-tron update, which means this cabin probably won't feel as futuristic as in a rival top BMW iX or Mercedes EQE SUV, or even Audi's own RS e-tron GT Quattro. But then it wouldn't do because all those cars are clean sheet designs based on bespoke EV platforms. This one is rather less EV unique underneath, so perhaps it's not surprising that at first glance it feels just like any other large Audi to sit in up front, mainly because of the familiar 3-screen format with upper and lower ones on the centre stack, respectively 10.1 and 8.6 inches in size, and Audi's usual 12.3-inch virtual cockpit display facing you through the now restyled 3-spoke steering wheel. This SQ8 variant gets an extra, more focused e-tron Sport layout to add to the two usual layout options, Classic and Sport. A wraparound trimming arc envelops the outer perimeter of the e-tron branded dash, the fascia designed with the different architecture it needs to be able to sweep out and incorporate optional virtual mirror screens. Also rather different is this wide open centre console between the seats, which of course on an electric car like this doesn't have to accommodate a bulky transmission tunnel, so the brand has instead created this multi-faceted compartment to fill the space, a storage area which looks like it should be lidded but isn't, and which rests on open sidewalls intended to lend to it the feel of a light, sleek sculpture. An acquired taste is this unusual gear selector operated by a handrest, which appears to float above the console and is activated by a one-touch action conducted with either thumb or index finger. But the leather-stitched seats are superbly comfortable and position you fairly loftily. Let's take a look in the rear. Now, with this SUV body shape, entry is a little easier than with the Sportback version. And once inside, this SUV model gives you 14mm more headroom, which will help six-footers considerably. With either body style, inevitably you'll be much less comfortable if there are three of you and you're stuck in the middle. Shoulder room with a trio of adults wouldn't actually be too bad, but the middle seat is narrow and has a stiff backrest. At least there's no prominent central transmission tunnel to impede you though. Just above it are twin vents, a 12-volt port and twin USB-C ports as well. There are also rear controls for the 4-zone climate control system that lesser Q8 e-tron models lack. We'll finish as usual with a look out back. Now, with this SUV body style, the powered tailgate rises to reveal a decently sized 660-litre boot. That's 45 litres bigger than the alternative Sportback body shape. There's also a useful underfloor storage area. Bright silver tie-down floor points and this impractically covered silver boot sill also feature. Fold down the rear bench, which folds conveniently in a 40-20-40 split, and 1,637 litres of capacity is freed up. That's 70 litres more than with the SQ8 Sportback e-tron body shape. That's not quite all, because as with all Q8 e-trons, you get an extra little carriage compartment at the front, where the engine would normally be, though it's mostly taken up by the charging leads. You could put a laptop or a small bag there, though. The SQ8 e-tron model commands a premium of around £12,000 over a comparable two-motor Black Edition equipped Q8 55 e-tron variant in the standard range. At the time of launch and of our test in autumn 2023, that meant a starting price for the SQ8 e-tron with its conventional SUV body shape of around £97,000. You'll need £2,500 more for the sleeker Sportback body style. Either way, that gets you standard Black Edition trim. For this test car's plusher Vorsprung spec, you'll need around £114,000 for this SUV version and just over £116,000 for the Sportback model. As for rivals to this SQ8 e-tron, well, there aren't any other three-motor EV models in the segment, but there are plenty you might be tempted by. Cars like Porsche's Taycan Sport Turismo, and the top version of BMW's iX model, the xDrive 50, which offers more driving range. As does the even more frantically fast Tesla Model S Plaid, which, as we filmed, was starting from around £106,000. So the competition's tough, which means that this car needs to be well equipped. And of course it is. Tick off Matrix LED headlamps, 21-inch wheels with a special design, Park Assist Plus to steer you into tight spaces, and a four-corner air suspension with electronic shock absorption control system. Inside there are super sports seats with diamond stitching, a Bang & Olufsen premium sound system, a head-up display, a 360-degree camera system, 4-zone climate control, and the Audi Virtual Cockpit Plus instrument screen with its extra, more focused e-tron Sport setting. This top Vorsprung spec version adds to that tally with larger 22-inch wheels, virtual door mirrors, digital matrix headlights, front grille illumination, a panoramic glass roof, powered door closure and advanced keyless entry. Inside, Vorsprung spec gives you a heated steering wheel, carbon inlays, heated rear seats, rear sunblinds, and Audi's extended twin leather pack, which gives you extra leather for the dash and doors. On to options. Now, as on any EV, before you start spending any additional cash, budget first for the installation of a charging wall box in your garage if you haven't already got one. Audi has a compact e-tron charging system consisting of a control unit and a Type 2 Mode 2 cable, and it can be fitted by the brand's installation partner, PodPoint. Spend £150 more and you can specify a neat wall mounting bracket for it to sit on. And if you want faster battery replenishment, put £1,750 aside for the optional more powerful 22 kilowatt onboard AC charger. If you're choosing base black edition trim, you might wonder about adding these futuristic virtual door mirrors. These replace conventional door mirrors and project images onto little OLED screens mounted on each front door. They certainly look sophisticated, but not everyone likes the way they work in practice. Looking down to a door-mounted screen rather than an exterior door mirror takes a bit of getting used to, so try before you buy is our advice as ever. Especially since for this one extra, Audi charges a cool £1,750. Across the range, as with all Q8 e-trons, a raft of safety equipment features as standard. And as you'd expect in this day and age, there's an autonomous braking system included in that roster. Ingolstadt calls its setup Audi Presense Front and Basic. And like other similar packages, this one scans the road ahead looking for potential accident hazards as you drive, and will automatically brake the car to try and avoid them if you don't respond to warnings. The basic element of this system refers to the way that it will also instantly act to give you the maximum chance of survival if an unavoidable collision is detected, tightening seatbelts, closing windows, and even shutting the panoramic roof if one's been fitted. As you might expect for the money being asked here, there's also a lane departure warning setup that works between 37 and 124 miles an hour, issuing a warning if you drift out of your lane on the motorway, and applies subtle steering assistance to ease you back to where you should be. There's also distance warning, which alerts you if you're getting too close to the vehicle in front. High beam assist, which automatically dips your headlights for you at night, and rest recommendation, which alerts you if drowsiness is detected in your driving reactions. Top-spec Vorsprung versions like this one add two key packs: the Tour Pack, which gives you emergency assist, where the car will cut in if you get taken ill at the wheel, Swerve Assist, Turn Assist, Adaptive Cruise Control, and Adaptive Cruise Assist with Active Lane Assist. There's also the City Assist Pack, which adds a lane change assistant, great for automatic highway lane changes. Audi Presense Rear, to brace the car for a rear-end collision. Exit Warning, which warns occupants if there's an approaching vehicle when they're about to open their doors. And for when coming out of junctions, Cross Traffic Assist front and rear. It's all very reassuring. Like its two German premium brand rivals, Audi still hasn't switched to an 800-volt electrical infrastructure for its EVs, the lower-tech 400-volt system continuing here. The driving range figures: 269 miles for the SQ8 e-tron SUV and 276 miles for the Sportback body shape, are enhanced not only by the now larger 114 kilowatt-hour battery size, but also by a 20% increase in battery density and a revised stacking process within the battery structure with altered electrode placement. The new, more efficient electric rear motor and the car's now more slippery aerodynamics also help, of course, but the usual EV downsides remain. Electric cars are going to be able to go considerably further once someone designs a battery that doesn't weigh them down like a brick. You'll want to know about this model's new charging system. Well, with that new 114 kilowatt-hour battery we mentioned, of which 106 kilowatts is usable, charging performance rises to 170 kilowatts. At a public fast charger powering at up to 170 kilowatts DC, your SQ8 e-tron should charge from 10 to 80% in around half an hour. For a home wall box or a public AC charger, the SQ8 e-tron charges with 11 kilowatt AC from empty to 100% in 11 hours and 30 minutes. If that's not enough, Audi offers an optional AC charging upgrade of up to 22 kilowatts, which reduces that time to 6 hours. The insurance grouping is 50E. What else might you need to know? Well, probably that for company car users, electric vehicles, even ones as exotic as this, offer potentially huge tax savings as they fall into base VED Band A and will attract just 2% of benefit-in-kind company car taxation until 2025. Until then, you'll also be exempt from the London congestion charge. As for ownership peace of mind, well, you're limited to the usual unremarkable 3-year or 60,000 mile Audi warranty. You can extend it to 5 years at extra cost, but you shouldn't have to. The battery's covered by its own 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty, slightly inferior to Tesla's deal, which covers the battery over 8 years for an unlimited mileage. Maintenance is obviously more straightforward than it would be for a combustion engined model. An electric vehicle does, after all, have 20% fewer moving parts. There's no fuel tank, no exhaust system, and obviously no internal combustion engine. You wouldn't think that, though, to look at the service intervals needed here, which you can monitor in a dedicated section of the centre screen. They're every 20,000 miles or every 2 years. As usual, it'd probably be sensible to consider one of Audi's service plans that cover you for virtually everything in advance. There are 4 plans available, ranging from 2 years and 18,000 miles to 4 years and 36,000 miles. So what's the bottom line here? Well, having a twin motor system on the rear axle and a single motor up front doesn't just deliver huge performance and impressive traction. It also significantly enhances the fine level of control that can be used to thread this SQ8 e-tron model through a series of corners at speed, delivering a level of agility you simply wouldn't expect from anything this big and heavy. It's difficult to think of another large EV model line more in need of this kind of dynamic enhancement than the standard Audi Q8 e-tron and Q8 e-tron Sportback range, which in their more straightforward forms can feel a little flat-footed compared to rivals. The SQ8 e-tron models, though, are very different. Don't choose the ordinary version without trying this one. It's as simple as that.